So hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video I'm going to be showing you how I write one essay a week, 2,500 words in 4 hours as it were. And yeah, I'm going to show you guys how I do that. This has genuinely been so highly requested, I can't even begin. Like, I was thinking, is this really me? Is this me? Am I a YouTuber now? I'm going to take you on with me in the week and show you guys what I do from start to finish, from getting the essay to procrastinating, to doing it, to handing it in. Before we begin, just a quick 30-second disclaimer. Number one, I know that a lot of people have it worse. Like, I understand there's people who have it a lot worse than having one essay a week. Like, it's not that big of a deal, it's not that crazy. But for me, I'm a slow worker, do you know what I mean? It takes me a while to get my little head around things. So I reread and then I get it and then I start. So forgive me. Number two, I understand that it's not a crisis if it can be avoided. Like, if I just start on time, I wouldn't be in this situation. Do you get it? And I completely get that. So I probably shouldn't call it a crisis because it's just my poor time management. But procrastination, it gets us all. It gets us all. So I have my essays due on a Sunday. I have the class on a Monday. On the Monday, I'm way too tired to even start the reading. So all I do is go through the essay question and circle all of the key terms and stuff that I should be looking out for when I am going to start my reading. I then go through the reading list, and yes, all of those books on that list are recommended readings, and there's 17 books altogether, but we're only going to read 8. So I have highlighted 4 literary sources and 4 critical analysis sources there, and they are the recommended must reads. That's why they all have stars next to them. And yeah, so there's only 8 books for me to handle this week, and if I get through all of those, then I'll do the rest. But 8 books is all my focus this week. For the next part, this is my favourite part. I write out the question, which for this week is, to what extent do different literary genres give us access to the reality of women's lives in classical Athens? Then what I do is break down that question with a fresh set of eyes and trust my own brain to get like creative before I have to read what the modern scholars say and kind of get stuck into all of these like serious arguments. I like to really break it down for what I see it for with fresh eyes. So I'm just breaking it down like, what do they mean by women? Do they mean elite women, lower class women? What do they mean the different genres? What kind of genres could I explore? What kind of ideas when they say access to daily life, to special life, like which parts of their lives, the marriage, them as women, just a whole bunch of stuff. And I just write down what I think, and it just helps me get like my creative juices flowing. So what I was doing there was making my notes and starting my reading. So what I'm typing is, I have on one side the actual book open that I'm supposed to be reading, and I always start with my literary sources, so the works that were written during the period that I'm actually studying, and I have that on like the left side of the screen. On the right side of the screen I have my notes, and how my notes work is the black writing is like statements or titles or subheadings or things that are just important. The red is direct quotes from the work that I'm reading on the right side, and I reference it straight away. Like, no matter what, anytime I pick out anything, any quote, I put the exact reference next to it straight away. I reference as I go along while note taking and writing the essay. Then the purple stuff that you'll see is always my thoughts and what I think, and that tends to be like a large chunk of my notes. So when I do come to write my essay and I'm having that crisis, quote unquote, I've already got a lot of my ideas down, because I like to write down what I'm thinking as I'm going along. And then yeah, the red can also be modern scholars or just any quote that's not my work is in red. So that's what's happening here. Guys, so I've had breakfast now, and I have about an hour left until my lecture, so I am just gonna do work and yeah, carry on doing the reading. And it's Friday morning, so the essays due Sunday, so I still have a good 2-3 days left, and I'm just like pacing myself. And I'm gonna do like half an hour of reading and then half an hour of dissertation stuff, because I've always got to split my time evenly. So 1 hour and a bit until lecture, so let's go. So now I am off to my lecture. Basically, the hard thing about having this essay a week or 2 essays a week, depending on each student, is that you still have all these other things going on. So I have approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 lectures a week. I think that's where the struggle for time management comes in. If I only had to do an essay a week and that was it, with no like classes. Oh yeah, I also have a let's just call it 2 hour class, because it basically runs over all the time from like 1 hour and a half to 2 hours. So I have a 2 hour class each week as well, so there's that. That's fun. And yeah. Okay, hi everybody. So I am going to show you now how I would then go about writing the actual essay, because all of that footage there was basically preparation for how I would get to that point. So I obviously, like, I don't know, some of my friends do this and I just don't know how they do it, because I couldn't do it, but apparently they just like work on that day, as in they wake up, open up the essay question with 6 hours to go, and then just start from there. Like, when I say I have an essay crisis, what I mean is I've done some of my reading, not all of it. I've got some notes, not all of them. I have a rough idea. I just haven't started writing the body of work. So now I have to write the body of work, and sometimes I can't think, or I've got like a bit of a block or whatever. But by the end of the week, what I would have is a body of notes like this, right? These are all notes that I've made from doing the reading. Then I would have in red the thing that's a direct quote from a book or from an author or from a literary source, which means like the book that was written in the 4th century BC by someone living in the 4th century BC. That's called a literary source. And I would take that, put it in red, immediately after getting that quote, I reference it straight away. I put next to it exactly where that is from, what line, who said it, when, and I just put the reference straight away. I have the red, which is someone's direct words. The purple is all my thoughts. I always put any thoughts that I've got original, belong to me, in purple. Beneath the purple, I would put someone else's thoughts in terms of like a secondary person who's a modern scholar writing in today's time. So by the time I have a paragraph, it's got a sandwich in it. Sandwich, I can't say that word, and my friends always laugh at me. Sandwich, I don't know what you'd say, but the thing that has bread and you eat it, that thing. So I basically, by the end of my notes, I have a sandwich of things in my paragraph. I have, what did the literary source say, the person from the ancient world? What do I think about what they said? And what does the secondary evidence say? Sometimes I jumble it up. I start with the secondary, start my thoughts, da, da, da. Either way, each paragraph would have my thoughts, the ancient person's thoughts, and a modern historian or scholar's thoughts, and then conclude the argument. So, and then I just go on to write. And what I tend to also do is before I write, so this is now on the day of the actual essay being due, what I would do is, and then on the day of the essay being due, I'd write a little rough plan. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess there wasn't anything like special in there. All I'd say is planning in advance is really, really good. If you can try to start as soon as you can. I would never start on a Monday, like I said, because I've had the actual thing on Tuesday. I'm doing dissertation stuff. I don't start until like Wednesday, and maybe like I'll just do one book on a Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like 3 days are the solid days that I actually work, and then Sunday I write. So if you can, try to give yourself just a few days of actually getting your head around the arguments and stuff. It was all over the place, and I'm actually very sorry, but I hope it was helpful. If it was, comment down below, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. And I'm gonna do another video like this on how to write an essay last minute. This is a how to write an essay if you've got the time, but I'm gonna do one on last minute, like what happens if something happens and you happen to end up having only one day left, like the day before and the day of, and I'll do like how to do a last minute essay and to make it good. So bye, love ya, and I'll be seeing ya.